Oh, well, hello, my wonderful broskies of the Maverick Nation. Broskies and broskies of the Maverick Nation. And welcome back to What If Izuku Was a Hollow Part freaking 3. I'm kind of doing this in like rows, and like once I get like enough parts, maybe I want to finish the what ifs. Guys, just letting you guys know, there are going to be other what ifs on the channel besides My Hero Academia. I'm just really, getting that itch. Plus, this also has to do with Bleach, and the other one also had to do with Airtail. So yeah, more air sands specifically, but never mind. So it's like add-ons thing. It's like kind of like pizza toppings. Why did I make it sound so freaking weird? Anyways, seeing as it is a part of the three, you guys may think that there's not much left to really do. I mean, Izuku was kind of like the whole him being a hollow thing was like a main focus, like a hollow Izuku. What's going to happen with that? Like, what are we gonna do with that? And now, basically, he can't really do anything to, keep himself alive because of the whole special cuffs that they made. And he can't souls, can't satiate his hunger. But it's time that I let you know and that I let you guys in on a little something. I'm a one-up master at one-upping people, or at least one up the part of this little thing, like the part of you guys that thought that Izuku's story was just going to end there. I just basically am one-upping you right now because guess what? Part 3 starts at the jail. Basically, like hearing over like the like sirens or phone like speaker, like I guess loudspeaker you could say. Like do they have those at police stations? Basically, whatever you hear over it, basically about all the new developments and like hero activity, like basically like people like Zawa who are like teachers of like the heroes of the next generation. They're having to do like a lot of reevaluating, and Nesu was like the principal of the school is having to do a lot of reevaluating because like new rules are being set up, like safety regulations, because of the whole hollow stuff that's been going on. Like, people thought all of this shit was freaking fake. And now it's like, oh my god, we're in actual freaking danger if this happens again. We could actually all die. So basically, there's been a lot of things that have had to been like rearranged, like turned around, tipsy topsy turvy, widdly waddly worvy. Basically, Aizawa is basically like speaking with Netsu, and he's just like, so yeah, about the whole thing with the like him and Netsu are at the freaking police station, and they're like talking basically like to like these officers, basically like these kind of reevaluations or like the whole thing about like changing certain stuff. It kind of sounds a little weird, don't you think? Actually, that's more or less what the police officers think. they think that it's more or less weird that they would go to like this trouble to do that, all of this trouble. And then Izawa, very, very offensively, in his own very offensive way, decides to remind them about the entire thing with like a USJ being completely demolished. The USJ just being ransacked, completely obliterated. So basically, like, should we like reinstate some sort of like a new thing, like with the government, like a liaison with the government for like a new like thing to like bring the whole Shinigami thing back into like the light, because Shinigamis, they basically, kill hollows. And the more help we have, the less stress there's going to be on us. But, with that, we have to kind of get a liaison with the government for this whole rule thing to pass. Plus, a liaison with the entire Shinigami side of this, because several lieutenants freaking died in like the span of all of that. And then you have like the experimented on hollows, the ones that are like Grand Fisher and like a Menos Grande morphed together. So basically, like the captain commander at the time, who was an ancestor of Shunsui, because remember at the end of Bleach, he ended up being the replacement for Yamamoto, because Yamamoto died. So basically, it's like a member of like Shunsui's late family, I guess you could say. Basically, they're just like yeah, this is kind of like a family thing. We've like our family's been doing this for quite some time. We're kind of experienced in the whole captain commander thing, running this entire operation. And so basically having to trust like UA, having to trust like all of the other different like hero schools, and like the whole trust with the government, and like shitty. Basically, there's going to be a lot of shit that needs to be done in order to get things more secure. Basically, that's what Nesu and Izawa and like all the other teachers and even sort of All Might. All Might's also doing some sort of secluded training, because he's like I should have been able to help Bakugo. Like, I don't know what came over me whenever I saw him do the whole resurrection thing, but I can't let that happen again. I need to be ready. And then he just gets this like this. He just hears this like a ringing, and he just sees this like tape with like little beeper on it, or whatever you call it. It's like a little like a light up button. And so he basically presses the button and the beeping stops, and there's like a little click. And it's just like, it's like a freaking video recording of like someone's voice, like a voice recording. And it's basically, it's all for one. All for one. And it's basically like, you guys, you thought you were safe. But, seeing as basically All for One states how he knows about, basically the successor that Dark Void had originally chosen turned out to be a pretty shitty leader, so basically he let Izuku eat him, so that's why he was so ridiculously freaking strong at the USJ. Also because of all the other shit. And basically so after Dark Void had let him do that, he was basically now the king, because there was no one who could really oppose him. So Izuku So basically, what All For One is trying to tell All Might is like, you guys have the king of an entire freaking dimension in your grasp. You know what that's gonna do to the entire freaking like hollows. Like, you know how much that's going to collapse the balance. So I prepared for you guys. Like, if you did something stupid like that, so I prepared, and yeah. Actually, I had made a call prior to him coming to the human world the second time at the USJ and discussed some things with him. Maybe about a backup plan in case he were to get into dire straits. Why do you think he was so confident sounding? And basically, All Might's like, All For One, what did you do? And All For One's just like, let's just say I've agreed to do a sort of joining of powers with the king of Huecomundo, Izuku Midoriya. And basically, like, wait, what? So basically, Izuku is the freaking king of Huecomundo, all of it, including Las Noches and everything else. He's basically the king of an entire dimension. They had no idea about that. They had no idea he was the actual king. Because this successor that Dark Void actually had chosen was a piece of shit. Basically, All For One told Dark Void about that right away, and Dark Void is like, basically, he agreed with him, and so he's like, Izuku, you can do whatever you want with him. Like, kill him slowly and painfully if you want, I don't care. And he basically is like, as long as I get to eat him. So basically, no wonder he got so freaking strong. He freaking ate, like all the powers are sort of coming to him, like, slowly. And basically, All For One is also, like, speaking about also another thing. He's actually a lot stronger than he was in that fight. Because, you see, he had brought something up to me about the ability to suppress his power. He was putting certain restrictions on himself for whenever he fought Bakugo at the USJ. That's why he was. That's why you were actually able to get him. Had he not been putting on those restrictions, had he actually been going all out, you would all be. Well, I don't want to get too graphic with the description. Basically, like, All For One, like, knows he's already won, basically. And he's just like, so I basically decided to, send the backup dancers, basically, like the hollow equivalent of like the backup dancers. Basically, like, talking about like how like Dark Void had like his own like little sort of like a messenger slash bodyguard hollow, and basically he sent a message like about like finding like the world of living and going to this place and sort of doing a prison break. And so basically, like the messenger slash bodyguard hollow for like Dark Void, like this guy, Dark Void is now his Zanpakuto. He's now the king, so I have to serve him. I have to break him out of prison. And guess what else, All Might? You'll never be able to guess. You see, since Hirogiri and Shigaraki both died at the hands of him, he actually had a little bit of something that could have given him an edge. You see, at that very time, he had acquired something due to our alliance. I had been looking for it, he had been looking for it, and with our collaborative efforts, we were able to find it. However, it seems I can't exactly use its power. Only he can. It seems the Hokyoku believes Izuku to be its master. And All Might's like just like he knows about the Hokyoku. He's like, what Hokyoku? No. He has the Hokyoku inside of him already? And no, he's like, wrong. He had it inside of him whenever they were at USJ. He was like using it to extra limit himself to see how much he could like still continue to go on while limiting himself. So basically, like give like a fraction of Noyatora's power whenever he's actually like several times Santa Teresa Noyatora. So yeah, basically several times like Noyatora in his like a resurrection form. And basically he's like been releasing more of like the locks, so he's even getting even stronger. And the Hokyoku will grant the wish of its master, so whatever he wants, he's gonna get. If he wants to get stronger than he is already, he's gonna get that from the Hokyoku. And basically, well, like All Might rushes over to the freaking prison, and he's like, I have to find Izuku. And basically, he goes over to Izuku, and he's like, where is it? Where are you hiding the Hokyoku? And Izuku's just like, oh, so you did find the tape. You want me to give you the Hokyoku? F off. He's like, F off. As if I would ever give you. Besides, it doesn't consider you its master. The reason why I was able to use it and not All for One the reason why I was able to use it and not All for One is because it considered me its master. So, even if you were to, try to rip it out, I would still end up getting it. I would only end up becoming stronger from the near-death experience. And All Might's just like, so, I guess that just means... He's just like about to use Plus Ultra. He's about to go Plus Ultra and just like obliterate Izuku. And all of a sudden, like, Ceroblast, like, boom! And basically, he sees, like, one of the Grand Fisher sort of Menos Grande lookalike hollows. And Izuku's basically like, oh yeah, and if you're wondering about that, that's the result of the Hokyoku. I decided to do some research, and I think I've become quite intuitive with things. Don't you think? And then like there's like two hollows like next to the one, but they look weird. They don't look like regular hollows. They look weird basically. And All Might is like, what is this? This is nothing like the hollows from before. And basically, what Izuku says to this is like, Kirogiri, Shigaraki, cuffs, now. And wait, he's like, Kirogiri, you killed those guys! And basically, like, one of them says, like, I really don't want to get close to him, Shigaraki. And basically, like, the other one is like, It's either that or we die. And so basically, they undo the cuffs while the one hollow is distracting All Might. And All Might is just like, oh shit. And like Izuku just has like the Hokyoku out, and he's like, what's he doing with the Hokyoku? And he's basically like, simple, my friend. These hollows here are the hollow versions of Kurogiri and Shigaraki. And you see, my whole agreement with All for One. I'm a really good liar. I said I wasn't going to use the Hokyoku for gain on his men. Well, now they're mine. Screw him, screw you, screw all of you. I'm outie. Bye. And then they just like pop like Garganta, and it just like whoosh. But like All Might jumps in with them, and he's just like, and he like just finds himself in the middle of like a Mundo, and like Izuku's just like, you shouldn't have done that, and All Might's like, why? And he's just like, because I'm afraid you'll have to be the first one to see it, but I have more than one resurrection. This one is Segunda Etapa. It's basically like whoosh, like the freaking Bleach Fade to Black freaking OST in the background, like B07A. Basically like he's about to go plus ultra, and then he's just like Segunda Etapa, and then he's just like, it's time that you die. And then he's just like, he kind of makes his own like hollow version of Plus Ultra, and he just like clashes, and it's like, boosh! And like All Might like sees like his entire arm is getting ripped to shreds by this attack, and Izuku like whenever he gets close enough, he's just like, I thought you to be a hero. You're nothing but a waste. That is, unless you're being used. You do have a soul, after all. And All Might's like, what? You heard me, asshole. Shigaraki, Kurogiri, you're going to have to share your food. And All Might's like, the hell are you talking about? And then he just shoves his sword straight through him, and he's like, shink this. Like he like Sony-doed straight behind him, and then like shoved the sword straight through. And basically, like, All Might collapses, and before he's actually able to, like, die, they actually start to, like, eat him. And then, like, Izuku finishes the whole Hokyoku screwery, and basically now it's like, Ankarar Kurogiri, Ankarar Shigaraki, and basically, basically Izuku is just like, and now off to Las Noches. Shouldn't be long if we use our Sonido. And they basically just pop right there, and it's just like, this is my kingdom, and you two have agreed to be my loyal servants. And like Shigaraki's like, what if whenever All for One finds out about this? And like Izuku's like, good, I want him to find out, because then he'll also have found out about the fact that I killed All Might with like one attack, and he was in his like buff form. So basically, he'll have also figured out that I killed All Might with one attack. Like, no prob, bro. And basically, Kirogiri actually mentions something like, um, uh, I think your spiritual pressure in your segunda etapa is kind of crushing us, even though we're also Ankarars. Like, even though they're also Ankarars, like Espada level by now, because of all of the Hokyoku screwery that Izuku's been doing with them. Uh, his segunda etapa is like freaking off the charts, like the level of Aizen whenever he was in like the chrysalis state. He's literally like freaking chrysalis state Aizen level of power in his segunda etapa. And so basically he's like, okay, well then, I guess we'll just have to take a peek at what Bakugo's doing. And basically, like the very first thing he sees is like, oh yes. He's just loving it. And like Kirogiri and Shigaraki like are looking and they're like, holy shit. Basically, Bakugo has basically now like like a he's on the road to truly realizing like his full extent of his Bankai. Like not until like the transcendent stages yet, but like a he's like a getting a true idea of a kind of like Renji with his Bankai, like his Zanpakuto, where he kind of had to like two different things. So basically, now like Bakugo's like on the road to like truly like mastering like the whole Bankai thing, and he has a little bit of a development to mention to Rubai, who barely made it out alive of the USJ incident. Just letting you guys know that he barely made it out alive. I've come to tell you something. Well, more or less, show you something as well. And basically, Rubara is like, well, I am your teacher in the whole Shinigami thing. I've actually been promoted to vice captain, and you could even become a lieutenant if you wanted. Substitute lieutenant, but still lieutenant. And Bakugo's like, come on, substitute lieutenant? Where do they make up this bullshit? And Rubara is like, it's not bullshit if it's in the rulebook, asshole. And he's like, well, whatever did you really want to show me or let me know about? And basically, like, he goes into the whole thing with Soreno Baku Hatsu. He, like, brings it out, and, like, Rubara is like, interesting, what's this? And basically, now he's like, Freezer Burn, Soreno Baku Hatsu. And, like, this, as I'm sure you can remember, is my Shikai. And after all the training that you and me have done together, I've just. I have no. It's like, basically, after all the training we've done together, I think I'm starting to finally realize it. And then he's like, Frostbite and Freezer Burn. Suddenly. Basically, guys, what I'm doing here is like a. Kind of like a whenever Ichigo went into his Bankai, instead of like just Zangetsu, it was Tensa Zangetsu. I'm gonna do a little bit of a name changing around you for Bakugo's Bankai. He's like Frostbite and Freezer Burn, Sodeno Bakuhatsu Tsurushimo. Yeah, Sodeno Bakuhatsu. Like freaking Sode no Bakuhatsu no Tsurushimo. Tsurushimo. Sode no Bakuhatsu Tsurushimo. Basically, like, he basically is like right in front of him and he's like, alright, it's Bankai time. Frostbite and Freezer Burn, Sore no Bakuhatsu Tsushimo. And dude is just like freaking Rubara is just like, holy shit. It's like you're literally able to fuse your quirk within like the ice element of like the original Zanpakuto. Like you're like you're like being a mad lad at this. You're doing all sorts of good. I'm proud of you, man. And actually, I think as a sort of a promotion before we even really get there, I think they could use a new vice captain. I'm really not one for the life anymore. It just, I don't feel fulfilled. I thought the whole Soul Reaper thing, becoming a vice captain, would fill the void in my heart after all these years of basically being treated like trash for my girl's name. So basically, he's basically telling about how like he thought it would fill the void of like all of the insults, like whenever he was like a little kid, but it never really did fill anything. I still remember all of the names, and whenever I didn't stand up for myself, they would start to beat me up. So I finally decided, since the role of the vice captain, seems to not really fit me all that well, I'm going to use my power to help you. And freaking Bakugo's like, what do you mean? Simple. In order to help you control your hollow, I'm going to become one with it. Kind of like how Ichigo's hollow power and his Shinigami power were fused. Basically, Rubai is basically offering to fuse himself with the hollow power that just came the frick out of nowhere. Basically, he doesn't even really give Bakugo an option. He just fuses in with the blade. He just touches it, and then all of a sudden, swoosh! And he's like, the last words he says to Bakugo are like, "Goodbye and hello, my friend." The reason why he says goodbye and hello is because basically, since like the blade is me, like that whole philosophy of Zanpakuto, technically he's not really going to be gone, but he's sort of like physically, like the physical body is gone, unless like in like the inner world. But he's sort of like a mixed up with the whole hollow thing. So basically now Rubarai is the hollow part. And Bakugo basically, after realizing this, he's like, no, Rubarai, you are my friend. And he just hears this voice, I know, you're my friend too. Friends till the end, buddy, partner, good old pal. However, I do have something to say to you. I sense it. I sense that this peace wasn't going to last for long. It seems. And it's like basically, it's like, it seems the peace isn't going to last for long. He's managed to break out of prison, and he has friends. And on top of that, he killed All Might. And Bakugo was like, wait, what? He, Izuku, you. And basically, he just lost two important people to him, both through Barai and All Might. So, he cries out, like Bakugo just cries out, Sore no Bakuhatsu Tsurushimo! And just like the Bankai just spreads out like this, like a bunch of frost and fire and everything all around. Just encirclement, and just like a big swirl of Ryatsu, everything. And like freaking Izawa like gets over there and he's like, "Calm down, Bakugo. Bakugo, calm down. Please. We know. We know. We were able to somehow sense it. It was like he was showing off. We know about what happened to All Might." Basically, Izuku basically broadcasted to the entirety of the world that he'd killed All Might. And that, a little thing, I plan to be showing up to the UA Sports Festival. I want that last final climactic battle with you yet. I see you've become stronger. So have I. I've also amassed some friends. So, let us see who is truly the stronger. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you're wondering about the whole Tsurushima part, basically, Sore no Bakuhatsu Tsurushima is basically the sleeves of explode explosive frost. The Tsurushima part is basically like something to do with frost. So basically like sleeves of explosive frost or something along the lines of that. Sleeves of explosive frost. So yeah, that's what the whole Bankai means. So yeah, Bakugo's become stronger, but on the downside, All Might's dead. All for One has no idea that he's just been basically hoodwinked himself. And the UA Sports Festival will be a little bit more bloodier this time around. Because it's really not like they can't really refuse them. I mean, they'd just die. And they would just go in anyways. So, really, are they really gonna refuse? Like, it's not like there's much they can do. So, yeah, freaking climactic ass battle at the UA freaking Sports Festival. Freaking Bakugo versus Izuku. Who will win? What a freaking way to do a cliffhanger. Anyways, that is the end of part 3. I am the Dark Shit American. I am out. Adasses.